Oh, ow. That was a rough landing. What happened? I had to eject from my ship and oh, well, from the looks of it, the computers are dead. Oh, and the hatch doesn't even work either. I'll have to break out of the ship with my laser instead. Oh, man, what am I gonna do now? I'm just kinda stranded. I can see the parachute didn't really do its job. I suppose the planet's surface hasn't been damaged too much. That's thankful. It's a good thing. But, oh man, I can't even get my head clear enough to make a coherent thought. Ugh. The first thing I have to do is try and get back up. But I don't know how advanced the people of this world are. Well, oh, there's a village or some type of establishment or civilization. I guess that's something we can work with, huh? I'll have to go over there and see what they have available for me to work with. Well, it looks like they're at least capable of building things. That's good. Hopefully someone's around here, though. Hello? Anybody here? Hello? Sorry for intruding. Hmm. Seems like no one's here. Yeah, I don't see anybody. Well, this house gives us a good perspective on what their civilization is like. They have some appreciation for their own culture. They have a basic modest society. Not overly advanced, but not primitive either. They have jarred food. That's useful. But, oh, they have fish too. I guess this is the type of fisherman's hut. And some space up here. Well, upon first glance, I have a little more confidence. But I have to keep looking around to see just what I can find and if there's anybody here. Hello? Anyone? Anyone at all? I don't want to, like, rummage around their houses too much. Oh, like they have some animal products. I guess might be a butcher or a rancher or maybe both. Maybe they both live here. I don't know. Anyway, it looks like they have animal husbandry and agriculture, so that's promising. Oh, even some apiculture. I don't know if they're doing anything with their bees, but good to see that they're trying new things. It's a real ghost town, though. That's problematic. I'm kind of worried for them. Like, they don't just up and leave. There's that town is in too good of a condition to really be abandoned. I would hope they have some type of cultural festival or something going on that takes them away from their home. Seems like they're growing a lot of crops. That's good. Interesting that they have different seasonal crops growing at the same time. I wonder if we're near the end of a harvest season, or perhaps their fauna and flora are just more acclimated to a. I don't know, is this climate good for growing things? That sounds pretty good if I need to survive here. Hmm. Unfinished work. That, I don't like that. And that, I'm not saying that they're lazy, I'm saying that something really might have happened, and I don't know what else to say. Oh, it looks like there's a town square or something over here. Is there anything I can figure out based on the houses and stuff that are available? Looks like a carpenter. Well, good to see that they have somebody responsible for building these houses. I mean, someone had to build them, I would hope. They're a little garish, but they're not terrible either. This one, I would want to live here. Too much color. Not that I need something dull, just, I don't know. Something about it. I guess this is like an artist's house, perhaps? What is this red stuff on the ground? So weird. What about this building? Oh, a library. I'm definitely gonna have to come back here at some point. Maybe I can learn their language. Yeah, nobody's around. I've already kind of gotten used to that fact, just by the fact that I'm not calling for anyone when I enter these places. What a strange place. What happened? We have a blacksmith, that's great. Looks like they, have some idea on what metals are and how to use them. Oh, hey, a lumberjack area. Well, let's go to this last house. I don't know if, I'm gonna find anyone. Hello? Oh, just another empty bedroom. Where is everybody? Oh, oh, looking at these maps, that's pretty good. I'm getting a nice view of the area. I guess, here's where I am, relative to everything, and, huh, that's a perfect circle. Interesting. I'm gonna have to keep this in mind for later. Looks like they couldn't fit the whole thing, but it was really just the bridge and the dock that got cut off. That's interesting shaped building. So this is just, a lot of trees in the way, but building on the map. Ah, there it is. What's it doing hiding all the way out here? There's some permit or something? I mean, I would hope that this is my last chance at finding somebody, right? Seems to be some type of basic camp setup. Oh, okay, off the ground. Hello? Is that how you greet people here? Sound kind of angry. I don't know if, I don't know if that's really a good thing. Ow! Oh, I didn't actually hurt, but it made me flinch. What did... Hmm. I have no idea what you're saying. Well, I guess if, I have no idea what you're saying, we're not really, gonna be able to talk. I'll just leave you alone. I'm not gonna look through your things, especially since you're right there. But I guess I'm gonna have to go back to the village library and, maybe I can learn their language from their books. I'll, have to see what I can get from that, and maybe we can have a chat with that guy. Now that I've studied up a bit on their language, maybe we can have an actual conversation. Hello again. Now that we can speak with one another, would you like to talk? Were I really a demon, would I have given you the time to talk to me? Or would I have just, killed you? Well, I studied your library the best I could over the course of the day. Only so much I could do with the limited time, but it's a good start. I just got here from a spaceship. There was no time for me to do anything. I still can't do any evil magic, on the account of me not being a demon. I have machines that can let me leave the planet, or at least I did. Tell me more about this magic, though. What did it look like? And stop turning away from me. Those are probably unrelated events. The crash was likely me if it only just happened. I wonder if this magic is related to what happened on the ship that made me crash. Is there anything I can do to gain your trust? I promise I'm not here because I want to be. I'd like to hurry home, but if you need my help, I can offer it. Alright, fine. The sooner we can stop wasting time, the better. Let's get right to business. What do you want me to do? 16, obviously. What else would it be? How could you possibly get that? Unless you count in a different base system to what I do. If you're not used to it, thinking in alternative base systems is a little strange. You sound like you add a digit at 6. We added at 10. Well, I guess you don't know what 10 is. You would call that 14. If you don't mind me asking, were you banished from the village? Your tiny hut is all the way over here. The trees block the view of your hut from the village, too. I barely saw it on the map. It's like they want to completely dissociate from you. While I definitely agree that ostracizing you is wrong, I can at least appreciate their skepticism. If you don't put your foot down at some point, you will encounter tragedy, but at the same time, you're sacrificing progress. If nothing else, we need to work to bring the village back. Hopefully, they're still alive. We don't need hope. We need action. Let's get to work. I'll get things started on my own. You can do whatever you need to prepare. Thank you. I appreciate the cooperation. Hopefully we can get off on the right foot this time, okay? Well, now that that's done... Oh, he's still there. Did you have anything else you wanted to say? Oh, okay. Well, I'm Rhizopholma. Nice to meet you. Yes, the goal is cooperation. Do note I am trying to get home, and helping you is just a step in accomplishing that. But yes, I promise we will try our best to save this village together. Alright? Now I got work to do, so I'll see you later. So, now that I'm alone, and of course I mean, like, I was alone before and just talking to a scripted NPC, but to break character, I'm going to be doing a Tekkit series, obviously, and the way that's gonna work is I'm gonna play the game the way I feel like playing the game, you know, as one does, but there will be story events and other stuff. I've thought about how I want to do the commentary and such for this series, but I think overall it would be best if I were to just restrict the role playing to when the characters or like the NPCs are on the screen and I'm having scripted cutscenes with them. In general, I find it kind of difficult to maintain a false persona for that long. I'm going to break into my usual speech patterns. Not that I'm kind of already doing that anyway, but at least when things are scripted, I have a script to follow. But when I'm ad-libbing like I am right now, it can be kind of difficult to get that across. But hopefully, this is a culmination of all the quality upgrades I've had over time, and this will be a decent quality series. I'm not like a professional, I'm just doing this for fun, but yeah, you'll get plenty of techity action from me, and maybe I have a few little lore things here and there to help me out. Like I kind of just wanted to use the mining laser. Oops. But yeah, you get the point. I should also mention that there are mods that I'm going to be avoiding or putting off until later. Project E is a big one in that category. I don't really want to be making condensers and stuff super early. There's going to be lore reasons for that, but also it's partially just me not wanting to, you know, use these broken things that I think break the game balance, even if they're intended to be used. I'm going to play in the way that I feel, and that's kind of the standard for my channel. I do things in somewhat suboptimal ways just for fun. We have some incarnation of Tree Capitator in this pack. That's the mod that makes axes break trees from the bottom. So if I just break the bottom of this tree, once it is done breaking, enough time for all of the logs to break, all of the logs will come tumbling down, and it's nice and convenient. Makes it very quick to gather wood. So I'm doing some preliminary mining, and I mined up some strange crystals. Looking at it further, I've written some notes that I definitely didn't get just by sleeping in the bed. It says some things about what to do with these crystals, but I'm probably going to investigate this later. I don't think it's really worth my time right now to engage in such silly magics. I got a pretty good haul from that cave there. There's still plenty more to go exploring, but you don't really need to see me go mining. I did use up all the juice in my laser though, so I'm not gonna have that for a while again until I get power. I picked up 5 different types of V's crystal. I did find the 6th one, but I didn't pick it up because I didn't have any room and I was prioritizing other things. Picked up a few stacks of Electrotine. That's going to be important. Diamonds, some redstone. So what's the first thing we want to make? Well, I think I'm going to make a stone macerator first. Pretty simple recipe. The original industrial craft did not have stone macerators, but this version does. So we're going to make one. The stone macerator doubles your ores like the regular macerator, and it doesn't use power. It uses coal. But it's also kind of slow. So we're going to want to let that run for a while to get more yield out of our iron. There are also a few other things I would like to get out of the village that will make our start here a little easier. Oh, by the way, when I'm doing these story-related things, I'm going to have peaceful mode turned on. Alright, Kuromu. Okay. Well, what did you have in mind? Alright, alright. I mean, we have the river, though. You think that's a pretty good defensive measure? Point taken. I can't argue with that. Okay. That sounds pretty simple for me to do. I'll get working on it. Mm-hmm. See ya. So I've gone ahead and built a cobblestone generator. So if I turn it on, you'll see that it'll start breaking cobblestone and making it again regular vanilla cobblestone generator on top. Then we have a block breaker from Project Red that's, doing the breaking. And below that we have a barrel. The barrel only accepts items from the top, so every time this block breaker breaks the block, it forces it out to the block behind it, and by behind I mean opposite of the face that's breaking the block. So this forces the cobblestone into the barrel, it collects it, and then I can turn it off using a lever to make sure that the system doesn't overflow. I could do this automatically if I had a comparator and just have it keep a certain stock in the barrel, but for right now, this is a fairly functional cobblestone generator. So, Kuromu, what do you think of it, huh? Thank you. It's bare bones, but it does the job. Okay, good to know. I think I'm gonna get back to whatever I need to be doing. I have my own goals to accomplish here, and this is just, again, a little side thing. Mm-hmm. Alright, catch you around. So, I lost some footage. I'm gonna go back over what I just did now. So, this is a stone generator. It's not the fastest thing in the world. In fact, it's like the cobblestone generator, but I've slowed it down drastically. And instead of using industrial craft or some other type of furnace, I'm using a blue power, uh, blue electric powered Project Red furnace. And so we have the regular cobblestone generator bits, but we also have this bluetricity on the back. So what is bluetricity? Well, this is an attempt at a power system by Project Red that it tried taking from Red Power, and it's kind of bare bones. There are only 2 generators, one that makes power from Electrotine, and the other, which is these solar panels. Obviously, I'm going to be using these solar panels for right now because I don't have any way of producing Electrotine, so that's just a waste. These are also quite expensive on Electrotine, so if I were to look up the recipe for these solar panels, you'll see that it requires electrotin alloy and electrosilicon, and each of this is 8 electrotine, so that's 32 electrotine per solar panel. And of course, then you need power lines and hook them up to a battery box, and then that gets hooked up to this inductive furnace. So yeah, this inductive furnace is just going to run a little slowly, but it's able to keep up with, actually, it's not really keeping up. I should make the timer a little slower. But, the point here is that you have the regular cobblestone mechanism. It pushes the cobblestone into the furnace, And then for whatever reason, this furnace only wants to extract items from the side. So I have an item importer here, and item importers are from Project Red as well. And whenever they receive a redstone signal, they take the item in front of them, which is this side, and exports them out into the back. And you can rotate the side with a screwdriver. I can't actually get under here to do that because of this wire in the way. But yeah, I also have red alloy wire, which is basically redstone wire that does not lose its signal and sticks to walls. So yeah, I think that's pretty in-depth look at what this blue power bluetricity is like. Now, as far as the way the bluetricity works, it operates on a system of like voltage. It's kind of trying to be semi-realistic, but also not. You have to build up enough charge for anything to be able to work. I mean, if you want to look at it as make more than you're using, go right ahead. But yeah, the general idea here is that you are going to be making stuff with your generator, and you're using the power. This left slot here, this is the usable charge to the network, and this right slot here is the internal storage of the battery. So this is basically just a big stockpile of your blue electric power. I'm not going to get too into it because this isn't very fleshed out. This is a very bare bones system, and there's not really a whole lot to talk about, and there's not a whole lot of stuff in the mod that even uses or makes it. But yeah, it's here if you ever wanted to look at it, I suppose. The next thing I want to make is some backpacks from the Forestry mod. These are useful utilities for early mining, among other things, as they allow extra storage space in your inventory, but they also automatically pick up the blocks that they are filtered to select. Of course, a mining backpack will pick up mining goods, a digging backpack will pick up digging goods, so on and so forth. So if I were to drop some resources onto the ground and pick them up with the mining backpack, as well as some non-mining things, like a tool, if I pick up the redstone, it goes right into the backpack. Very convenient. You can make as many of these as you want. There are lots of categories for pretty much any basic task. Some mining goods won't end up in there, like Thaumcraft crystals. They have a special thaumaturgist's backpack. But in general, just make the backpacks that suit you best. We might want to make an apiarist's backpack later, but for right now, the mining backpack and digging backpack will do. Now, when you're all done with mining, if right click on a chest, transfer all the contents of your backpack into that chest. Very useful for early mining when you're still doing it manually. Let's see how Kuromu is doing on wall construction. Seems like he's gotten a start, but how's it going? Okay, so I guess the other major resource we could use is wood, right? You want me to get some of that for you? Okay. I guess a tree farm is going to be in the immediate future. I know it's tough without having more villagers to do work. Oh, you did? What did it look like? Okay, let's see what we got. Covalence. Yeah, I don't think I've seen this before. I guess if you don't mind, I could go investigate it on my own. Okay, I guess we'll have to do that for right now then. See you later. Covalence dust, huh? I wonder what it's for. Did it just fall out of my hand? What is it doing? No. That's okay. Oh, no, it fell out again. Why? What happened? Is there something down here? Oh, there is! Iron. I can't say I expected that. That's strange. I should, I don't know. Is there anywhere else there might be some? I mean, oh, it's telling me there's more somewhere. Oh. Down here? Oh, there is. This stuff seems to be able to... Oh, okay. I gotta get away from here. This stuff seems to be able to find ores underground. That's very interesting. I'm going to have to research that. Now, I'm going to need a fair amount of charcoal to do all the smelting and stuff that I need to do. So, I'm going to use wood piles. You saw the village had some. But, if I were to place these wood piles down in a rectangular prism shape, and I were to cover it with dirt, yeah, if I light the wood on fire and cover it up, it'll slowly start to burn the charcoal, the wood in the pile. And you can see that it's working because of the smoke. It's gonna take a while to finish, but once we do finish, I'll come back and show you what happens. Alright, let's open it up and see how we did. Yep, our beautiful looking ash. That makes charcoal when you break it. Uh, what happened here? This wasn't like that when I placed those wood piles down. It made more covalence dust. That's interesting. I wonder if there's some connection between this covalence dust and stone and charcoal. But no, I don't think so, because I could just put wood on the ground and it doesn't do anything, but I don't know, maybe some new reaction happened. Maybe this is more scientific than I thought it was going to be. I mean, I guess all of these wonderfully fantastical things are still provable and replicable, right? So, maybe I just take some of this charcoal, right? I just take some of this charcoal and combine it with stone? No? No, it doesn't like that. Of more stone. What if I surround it with stone? Ooh, that works. Hey, I made more of this covalence dust. Applications I found resources. Like if I walk up to... I don't know if everything be detected, but... What if I were to make a tool out of this? What if I just put some on a stick? What if I put more on a stick? What if I just put a ton on a stick? I start looking... Oh. I feel like it's gonna give me a good vibration if it finds something. Oh, how about we test on something valuable, huh? Instead of looking for nothing. Telling me what the I'm getting stronger vibes from over here than I am from over here. This is fascinating. I'm gonna have to see if I can develop this further. It's time to look at this thing's utilities underground. It seems to do an alright job, but it is still fairly restrictive. It doesn't really work on everything, and even still, its range is something to be desired. But I think this is a good starting point for future developments, so I'll have to keep this in mind for later, and maybe actually go develop it a little further right now, because I could really use some more resources. So, what if I were to just iron down? It doesn't seem to be reacting too much. I guess, it did react with stone, and stone was a solid like the iron. So maybe I just need to combine it with some sort of looser material. What if I were to combine it with another dust? If I were to... Hmm. I'm not sure. I feel like it's trying to tell me something. Oh. Here we are. Now we have an upgraded form of this dust. But what if I were to combine all of this? Ooh, I can search a much larger area with this. Well, time to go mining again and see if this is gonna be any more of a help. This instrument looks much more refined than the other one, giving me a lot more of a defined reading on what I'm looking at and what it's trying to detect. Oh, hello. What is this finding? I feel like it wants me to go this way. Yeah, it wants me to go this way. I... Oh, that's very useful. I found some very valuable things. And actually, now that I have more of these diamonds, that should allow me to advance it towards making a tree farm. This was a worthwhile detour. Now that I've gotten a supply of charcoal and resources squared away, I can make a tree farm using Steve's carts. So, to make a minecart with Steve's carts, you'll need a cart assembler, and then you put in a hull. The hull you use will determine how complex the minecart contraption you want to make is. There are also a lot of things that you have your hull capacity that determines the total number of points the cart can hold, the complexity cap, which is how complex of an individual part you can put on it. All of these parts are relatively simple and don't cost very much, and that functions into some type of equation, and that makes the amount of time it's going to take to produce the minecart. Now, I'm going to have to provide fuel for it to run, so I put the fuel into the cart assembler, I click assemble, and it'll get on making this cart, and I might have to refuel it at some point, but in about 11 minutes, I'll be able to come back and see that the cart's done. Naturally, I want to also have a minecart track ready to go, so I'm going to craft up some track, and I'll see you when the cart is complete. Now that all the components are in place, I've made a basic tree farm. It's not very big, and of course it hasn't planted any trees yet, but I've set up some storage barrels, I have an item importer, and I've also made some pressure tubes. These are just a basic item pipe. The importer will take items from the cargo manager and send them into the tubes, and the cargo manager is going to stop the cart every time it passes by it. This is the yellow side, so every time it passes the yellow side, it's going to take all of the items out of the cart storage slots and put them into the manager. Now, if I were to let it run, oh, well, first I have to put in some saplings, and I also will need to fuel it. I guess I'll just use a bit of wood to get it going. So yeah, if I'm running the cart, it's going to start planting saplings, and over time the trees grow, and it cuts down the trees, and then it brings them over to the cargo manager. I need to go get some charcoal to fill this thing up and let it run fully on its own, but you get the idea here. So, as you can see, the cart is now harvesting this tree. It all the way down, top to bottom, all the leaves. And once it's done, it replants the tree, comes back this way, and the cargo manager takes all the products. It would help if you go from the cart. Yeah, take all the wood out, put it right into the barrels. I want to fill up all these just to make sure none of the wood goes in there. So, normal people would automate charcoal by just putting the wood into a furnace and calling it a day. But naturally, I can't do something that simple. That's boring. So, in order to address such a problem, I've gone ahead and automated this in a very stupidly complicated way. What is that way, you may ask? Well, I've automated the charcoal pit I showed you before. Now, obviously, I showed it to you before for a reason. I wasn't just gonna not do anything with it. But what we can do now, and I'll show you around, I can take this turtle, and I can type in the name of my program, which is Charcoal Pit, and I run it, and so it places down that redstone torch, and it'll start digging all of that ash up from the previous batch. And so what that first step did was it activated this filtered item importer, this filtered importer, and it dropped the entire inventory of wood piles from this auto crafting bench and put it into the turtle. And so the turtle is going through there, it mined up all the ash blocks, and it replaced all of them with wood piles. It goes back into this spot, it sits down, and then you didn't really get to see it well, but this fires off 3 separate redstone signals. The first one leads to a block breaker, and that breaks this dirt. The second leads to this dispenser, and it activates a flint and steel, and that lights a fire. There's a better way to do this, but I don't have the materials to do it yet. I mean, I haven't, then I might need materials from some other dimension, you know? And then the last one is the placer, which replaces the dirt. And it also has a dirt in here already, and the dirt from the breaker cycles back through into the placer. And the only reason I have an extra dirt in here is because it allows the system to not have any dead time. And that's also the case with this turtle. I have select items in its inventory to filter particular slots. And yeah, so what it does is it breaks the stuff, it comes back, and then this filtered importer is constantly running, and it's going to take all the items out and put them into these barrels. So the last thing the turtle does is sleep for 15 minutes approximately. The 15 minutes are about how long it takes for the charcoal pit to run its course. I don't know if that's enough for everything, especially because there's some randomness involved, but it pretty much does the job. Okay, so to look at the code in the turtle, we see that we start with this while loop, and this makes sure that it always runs as long as the world is open and I've told it to go. It won't start on its own. There is a way to address that, but I don't feel like doing that right now. So first thing the turtle does is it makes sure it has the second slot in its inventory selected. It starts with 1 rather than 0. If you're more of a programming person, you might think 0 is the first index, but in this case, it's 1 is first, so 2 is second. I have all these placeholder items to make sure that everything stays in the right slots. And so the turtle starts by turning left twice, and then it places the item in slot 2, which is a redstone torch. It sleeps for 1 second, and then it digs it back up. And again, as I said before, it makes this item importer activate. It's filtered, sends all the wood piles down, and yeah, then it digs it back up, turns back to face the other direction, and moves forward. It breaks this, it goes in, and then I have a whole segment where it just goes through the inside of the charcoal pit to break all the blocks, and then it switches what it's doing. It selects the inventory slot for the wood pile, and it goes all the way back through backwards, placing all of the wood piles where it broke ash blocks. And once it makes it back to the start, it checks its fuel level to see if it's less than 100. If it is, ignore the items disappearing. They haven't actually disappeared. It's just a visual bug. If the fuel level is less than 100, it refuels the turtle. And then that's just the end of that conditional. It moves back into its proper finishing spot, selects the redstone torches again. It places a redstone torch down, and that activates both of these redstone wires. This activates this importer to send 1 full stack into the crafter. It crafts 64 logs into 16 wood piles, and 4 times 4 is 16. Unless you ask Kuromu, then it's 24, but that's beside the point. And yeah, so that's exactly 1 stack, which is enough for 1 operation. And then on the other side, it again sequentially activates the breaker, the dispenser, and the placer, and that activates the charcoal pit. And yeah, then the only other thing is that it sleeps for 1,000. That's 16 minutes and 40 seconds, but you know, that's a long enough timer for pretty much all the charcoal in the pit to go. And it's at a rate, it makes 11 charcoal per 4 logs, so that's almost 3 times yield. And when I get some better blocks to surround the charcoal pit with, like a whole lot more ash to make ash brick, I can make a lot more charcoal and ash. So, yeah. And then this is just an end for the while loop. Obviously, because the condition will never be met, it will always be perfectly capable of restarting this loop as long as the game is running. And since I didn't actually properly explain it, to use this auto crafting bench, you need a recipe plan. So you need to use a project bench to make the recipe. So I make a recipe plan in the project bench, and this is also a crafting table that stores items that you could use. But yeah, I then decide, well, I don't actually want oak wood, I want to use spruce wood because that's the wood that's being auto-crafted. I click this button, and now it saves the recipe for the wood pile, like so. And yeah, there you go. There's some type of auto-crafter. It's not a great type of auto-crafter, because it's a little, requires all this bluetricity and stuff, but it is a method of auto-crafting within this mod, and I didn't have to go to the nether to get any of the materials. So, Kuromu, what do you think about all that? Well, it means you have a tree farm now, and a charcoal farm. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, we'll have to get you up to speed on our own time, but yeah, for right now you have the wood that you need to start building that wall. Yeah, that's something more your speed. So don't worry about going as fast as I'm going. But yeah, I guess that's a good place to cut it for now. So thank you for watching. This has been Pick. I'm glad to have seen you, and I hope to see you again.